Good day everyone and welcome to A1 English channel. This channel is meant for English language teaching and learning. And in this channel we'll be looking at different aspects of English language. So if you are a student, coming here will give you A1 in English language. So you are expected to be here. Today we'll be looking at grammar. And under grammar, we'll be looking at verbs. A verb is an important aspect of English language because without verbs, your utterances will be meaningless and your sentence constructions will not make sense. So we need verbs in order to construct good sentences. Now, what is a verb? Students will tell you that a verb is an action or a doing word. Well, it's a good definition, but it is not a complete definition. What is the complete definition of a verb? A verb is what the subject does or a state of being of the subject in a sentence. What the subject does or a state of being of the subject in a sentence. A verb is what the subject does or a state of being of the subject in a sentence. What the subject does or a state of being of the subject in a sentence. Now, to help you to understand this definition, I will give you some examples. He walks to school. He walks to school. She is a beautiful girl. The food tastes nice. Now look at these sentences. The first one, he walks to school. Walks here is an action performed by he. Remember, a subject is the performer or doer of an action. So he here is the subject. Remember what the subject does. He walks to school. So walks here is an action. Then she is a beautiful girl. Is here is not an action. It is the subject is in a state of being. So this one is in a state of being. Then the food tastes nice. Taste here is not an action. It is also a state or condition of the food. So the two here, this and this are states of being. So you can agree with me that the definition is correct and complete. A verb is what the subject does or a state of being of the subject in a sentence. So with these examples, now we will go to types of verbs. Types of verbs. We can classify verbs into different categories. We can classify verbs into different categories. You can classify into lexical or main verb, lexical or main verb, and auxiliary verbs. You can classify it also into regular and irregular verbs or into active or passive verbs. But we want to look at lexical or main verb and auxiliary verbs. lexical or main verb. And under lexical or main verbs, we have transitive, intransitive, and linking verbs. Then the second one is auxiliary verbs. And under auxiliary verbs, we have primary and modal auxiliaries. Primary and modal auxiliaries. But today we want to look at transitive and intransitive verbs. What is a transitive verb? A transitive verb is a verb that requires a direct object to complete its meaning. A transitive verb is a verb that requires a direct object to complete its meaning. A transitive verb is a verb that requires an object to complete its meaning. It's a verb that requires an object to complete its meaning. That means they are followed by a direct object. A direct object to complete its meaning. A transitive verb is a verb that requires a direct object to complete its meaning. That means they are followed by a direct object, and the action of the subject is transferred to the object in transitive verbs. Examples: now look at the verbs here. We have he killed the rat. The rat here is a direct object following the verb killed. So killed here is used as a transitive verb. So it's a transitive. The second one is my father bought a car. A car there is the object of this sentence. The action of the father is transferred to a car. I mean, the action of bought is transferred to a car. So a car here now is an object, a receiver of the action. So it's a transitive verb. He slapped the boy. Slapped here is a verb and followed by an object, the direct object, the boy. So slapped is a transitive verb too. So all the verbs here are transitive because they have one thing in common, and that is they are followed by a direct object. Do you get it? Now let's go to another one, which is intransitive verbs. So what do we mean by intransitive verbs? Intransitive is opposite of transitive. That means they don't need a direct object to complete the meaning of the verbs. Intransitive verbs don't need direct object to complete their meaning or to complete the meaning of the sentence. An intransitive verb is a verb that does not need a direct object to complete its meaning. The meaning can be complete without a direct object. Let me give you examples. Now look at the verbs there. He slept late. Slept here is an intransitive verb because late here is not an object. It is just telling you when he slept. Okay? It is not transitive. It's intransitive verb. She works on the farm. Works here is an intransitive verb because it is followed by a preposition which is not an object of the sentence. So this is a prepositional phrase, and this works here is an intransitive verb. It rained. It rained is complete without any other thing following it, not even object or an adverb. So it's complete. So the rain, it rained here, rained is an intransitive verb. It's an intransitive verb. Now let's look at some other verbs that can function as both transitive and intransitive verb. I mean, a particular verb can function as a transitive, and that same verb can function as an intransitive verb. Let's look at some of them, such as ate. Alright, the verb ate can be used in a transitive way and also in an intransitive way. He ate the food is transitive. Ate here is transitive because there is a direct object following it. Then he ate hungrily. This is not a transitive verb because hungrily is just telling you how he ate the food. Do you understand? Then drink. She drinks wine. This is a transitive verb here because wine here is an object. It's a noun. She drinks to stupor. To stupor is not an object. I want to remind you that an object is the receiver of an action, and it should be a noun, a pronoun, a noun phrase, or a noun clause. So it should be a noun or pronoun. And the same thing applies to the subject, that is the performer or doer of an action. It should be a noun or a pronoun. It could be a single noun, a phrase, or a clause. So that is it. Some verb can function, like I said before, they can function as transitive, and the same verb can also function as intransitive. And we have seen it with this eat and drink. So let's summarize what we have done so far. So we started with grammar. That is, under grammar we have verbs. And we said a verb is what the subject does or a state of being of the subject. And we said to help you to understand it, we use some sentences like he walked to school. He walked to school. Walk there is an action or what the subject does. Then she is beautiful. Is there is a verb, but it's not an action. The subject is just in a state of being. The food tastes nice. Taste there is also not an action. It is describing the condition of the subject, which is the food. And we said there are two types of verbs. We mentioned lexical verb and auxiliary verbs. We said lexical verb can also be main verbs. And we gave examples. We said we have transitive, intransitive, and linking verbs. And other auxiliary, we have primary and modal auxiliaries. Now we started with transitive. We said a transitive verb is a verb that requires a direct object to complete its meaning. And we gave examples. He killed the rat. My father bought a car. He slapped the bird. So the verbs, underlying words there are the verbs. And they are all followed by a direct object in order to make it complete. Assuming we remove the rat, a car, and the bird, you can see that the sentence will not be, or the sentences will not be complete. So they need this direct object in order to make the sentence complete. Then we went to intransitive verbs. An intransitive verb is a verb that does not need a direct object to complete its meaning. And we gave examples. He slept late. She works on the farm. It rained. If you look at all the verbs, you can see that they don't have any object, a direct object following them. So, and we also said a verb can function as a transitive at the same time, function as an intransitive. We can see it here. He ate the food. He ate hungrily. He ate the food is transitive. He ate hungrily. Ate here is intransitive. She drinks wine, transitive, because wine is an object, the receiver of the action. She drinks to stupor. So the stupor here is just describing how she drinks. That is a regular action. She drinks to stupor, but a habitual action. So drinks here is an intransitive verb. Now I want to give you an assignment, and next time we'll write the correction to this assignment before we go to another thing. Identify the verbs in the following sentences and say whether they are transitive or intransitive. She climbed the tree. Okay. So there are 4 in number. Identify the verbs in the following sentences and say whether they are transitive or intransitive. He swims well. She swept the floor. She climbed the tree. The baby cries regularly. So next time, we are going to write corrections to these assignments. So please, if you have any comment to make, go to the comment section. You can also ask questions there. Please subscribe, like, and share.